It's a personal problem to me. And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. The Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because people in Facebook are going, okay, when it gets up to a certain point, does it really matter if it's Fahrenheit or Celsius? It's just, I can't take off anything more.
Well, we could, but that's not allowed on YouTube.
If you give me a razor blade, I can take more off.
Wow, that went into a dark place really fast now, didn't
and
it?
as the resident Italian in the group, thanks so much for that. Part of this is to follow through with the old adage, sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. In this case, the journey is getting his hell away from all the cease and desist letters. Thank you. Please send those over to Holy Crap the Vlogcast, 1300 Elmwood Avenue, Buffalo, New York, 14222. No, it doesn't work that way. Trust me, it doesn't work that way. Whatever. Let me go ahead and get everything started over here because stuff tonight. Welcome back to the top left-hand corner, North America. Hi, Dalan. Welcome back.
Good evening. It's good to be back finally. I'm seeing more and more of your country almost every other week, it feels like nowadays.
I'm sorry.
Oh, could be worse. Could be worse. Just north of me, where it's still balls hot over outside of Toronto. Good morning. Sorry, I got to keep track of time zones. Good morning, Heretic Woman.
Good morning. I thought you were going to welcome me back. I haven't been here in 2 weeks.
I was about to.
Okay.
And then I suddenly was just like, oh, that's right. Time zones. No, it's morning for her. And then it just gone.
Okay.
Welcome back. Yes. And by the way, so that everybody knows, full disclosure, the last 2 weeks, I did ping her for the shows. So if she bitches about, well, why did you keep waking me? That was my fault. That was my fault.
No, it was cute though last week because I was sitting around a campfire and my phone went off and everybody looked at me funny. I'm like, no, it's just a hangout. It's all right.
Happy Canada Day.
I suppose I could have answered, but you wouldn't have seen much because, well, dark in a campfire, but you know.
Yeah, it's a story of my life right there. From the Midwest, the U.S., over where it's, oh my God, why did you have to run for vice president? Good evening, Brigid.
Good evening.
And of course, as usual, outside of why do they still have a job? Good morning, UnrenownedTech.
First off, what do you mean the resident Italian? You're not the only one with Italian blood there, buddy. How do you think I know about the knife thing to begin with?
How much?
1/4.
Uh-huh.
My dad's Irish Italian.
Uh-huh.
So I got enough to fight you, man.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is back in the day when most of my family was coming over on the boats, your father...
My family was already here.
No. I'm just thinking, okay, Italian and Irish. So all of you would have been repressed at one point and told to go the hell home, right?
Dude, you and me both.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially considering the background on my mom's side, too.
Yeah. For those of you that are kind of wondering, for posterity's sake, for those of you that don't remember, the immigration history in the United States has been
lackluster. That's the nicest way I can put it. It's been lackluster.
And that's believe it or not, that's exactly the word that I was thinking of, and I was trying to think of a better way of kind of wiggling through this one with a stiletto.
Yeah, I think the last time people of my ancestry were ever told to go home, it was on the shores of Newfoundland when the Iroquois basically kicked a Viking settlement all the way back to Norway before Columbus showed up. So, yeah.
Every time I hear somebody mention something akin to the immigrants should go home, it's like, oh, are you Native American?
Yeah.
They hate that. They really, 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 really hate that one. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I calling out your hypocrisy? Oh, here, let me go get the world's smallest fiddle for your butt hurt.
Yeah, if only it were that easy. So,
by the way, it's midnight. It's after midnight here on the East Coast of America, and yeah, so I'm going to do it in Fahrenheit. You guys can do the translation later, but in with the heat index now, mind you, it's midnight, right? End of day, beginning of the next. With the heat index is currently 83 degrees Fahrenheit outside my house. This is taken from the closest weather station to me.
And I just pulled it up. 83 Fahrenheit comes out to 28.3 Celsius, which basically means
yuck.
Yeah,
sweaty balls.
See, that's why you double up on the cotton underwear and get the spray deodorant.
There you go.
I'm thinking about installing a heat sink fan in my Levi's, because they've got those wonderful studs on there that as mounting points.
There you go.
Yes.
If anybody's done that, send us an email because I'd like the schematics. I didn't find that on any of the how-to websites.
If anyone is interested, the heat index here is still 89.
You have my empathy and sympathy.
But it's like only 11 there, right?
Yeah, but still 89.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I know.
With the heat index, the dude, all that humidity in the air is just not allowing it to go anywhere.
Yeah.
True that.
Horrible.
True that. And again, I just looked it up. For those of you that do real numbers, that's 31.6. Fun times, man. Fun times.
I'm sorry. I'm still having trouble where I can hear a Celsius number and think about it in terms of my comfort or discomfort, whereas I can hear Fahrenheit numbers and I can immediately translate to, I better be wearing shorts and have an umbrella over my head, or it might be time to put on a long sleeve shirt.
No, I get the idea. I mean, over here at the house, we're in the weird situation where temperatures above freezing Fahrenheit, if it's getting close to freezing and under Celsius, and we've got this weird crossover thing that kind of happens. And generally speaking, for those of you that don't do Celsius, generally speaking, from 20, something around 20 is comfortable. Generally speaking.
20 to 25 if you don't have humidity.
Yeah. Roughly 20 degrees Celsius is comfortable.
20,
a little bit up,
20
a little bit down.
Is considered like room temperature.
Yeah.
And I'll probably have a hard time getting my mindset into the Celsius mindset, just because of the simple reason of all the culinary arts and the cooking that I do. Everything's in Fahrenheit with my stove.
Yeah, it's in Fahrenheit, it's in cups, it's in ounces. It's bullshit. It's all
over the place.
Anyway, so as always, everybody.
Yes, how the hell do they still have a job is my question. But I did my part. I voted.
Good man. So, like I was about to say, thank you everybody for joining us. Hope that you're going to have yourself a great time tonight, because Dalan will probably be able to tell you. He was probably looking at the show notes and going, "Well, damn, he didn't know what the hell to talk about tonight, did he?" It's basically what it came down to.
I looked at it and said, "Good thing Alan and I are showing up."
Yeah, that's our timing is pretty good. I was actually I'm still trying to adjust. Okay, maybe it is the age, the jet lag, living in Eastern time for a week, and dealing with all the other bull crap that came with it. Yeah, I've been kind of zoning in and out all day, and then I'm like, I better check the Facebook feed and see what the show's about. At which point I went, oh, gee. I guess I better turn my computer on for the first time, in a week and a half.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so I fired it up, sent up a small prayer to Murphy that my second monitor didn't blow out, because then I would be completely blind. But everything was fine. And I saw it. I'm like, yeah, I guess I better show up tonight, because, otherwise Heretic Woman's going to have to go this alone. And
I could have.
Look, I'm not doubting the fact that you could, whip any of these people in terms of, the cultural stuff. But hey, a little backup with a Western perspective, not such a bad thing.
Yeah, I am a little stuck in the sort of center east. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I at least have been out there now. I can at least.
Yes, you have.
I know a little tiny bit, but I still don't know.
What's that?
I said I still don't know squat about BC, but at least I got.
That's okay. I've been out here for 20 plus years. All I know is radium, which is home of some awesome hot springs, and I might add less crowded hot springs than Banff.
Okay.
The last time I went to Banff and checked out the hot springs. Oh boy, how do I describe this nicely? You ever seen, like a fish farm where they got those big tanks of the fish?
Yeah. Yep.
And there's like absolutely no room to do anything.
Okay. Hold it, Dalan. Reminding you that we don't want to lose our monetization money here. You know that, right?
We're monetized.
Yeah, right. Like I said, that's about as far as I'm going with the illusion there.
Yep.
But yeah,
Sardines.
So about an hour east, there is this radium, which is again just over the border. If you go into the town proper, it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's also on the way to Golden, where they have some like raft rides and stuff like that. But like some of the hotels there, absolutely incredible. But back to the hot spring, it's big enough that even if there are a lot of people there, it doesn't feel sardine-y.
That's good.
So, and it's cheaper to go. It's like, I think $10 for the day, as opposed to, there's what we paid to get into the park. And then plus you'd have to pay to get into the hot springs, which is even more. So yeah.
Okay, then. We'll keep that in mind.
Yep.
So anyway, as I was saying, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Stephanie, I know full well that you're over there, and thank you. And she's reminding us 21 Celsius is regarded as optimum. Sure, I'll go with that. No argument there. And that's fine by me. So, thank you.
Yeah.
So, as always, for those of you that are watching live, and I see that there's more than just one person, whoever you are, mystery guest, you could sign in, please. On your screen somewhere, I don't care where the hell, what?
No, I was going to say, if you're either lucky or unlucky, maybe somebody that starts with an N followed me from the last show I was just on.
Bionic Dance is not spelled with an N.
No. No, we didn't have this person in the show. They were in the chat. And they've hung around before. Oh, no, it's Katia Katya.
Oh, wait a minute. That N person.
That
okay.
N person.
Yes.
How the hell did you get Neil deGrasse Tyson on your podcast?
No, Shujin. This particular person has a belief that the Earth is like those old war planets. They split open and spew water. Ice Comet Bukapi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
okay.
that person.
Maybe we'll explain to you guys who we're talking about later.
Oh,
yeah. But it doesn't.
You're not going to give him the light of day.
It doesn't look like he came, but he showed up just as I was mentioning that I was going to be over here in like 20 minutes. So.
Oh, perfect. So, if you showed up, because we know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to turn off the microphone and say it. There you go.
Let's hope he lip reads.
You know what? It's going to be really hard not to.
Yep.
So there'll be that. Those of you that are listening on the podcast, You're really missing out on this one. You only have to go forward a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I ain't fixing this one post.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to. All I'll say is I finished it off with a lot. Figure it out from there. Anyway, let me go ahead and get everything rolling over here because we're gonna have fun. Before we actually get into that, really quickly, in all seriousness, before we go ahead and start, having good-natured fun with everybody, seriously, Happy Canada Day. Seriously, because it's not just Canada Day. American Independence Day is also coming up, and this kicks off the Friendship Festival over here on the border. It may be strained, but most of us who know what it's all about know full well we're not going to let some small group go ahead and ruin it for us. We know where the good syrup is kept.
Just so you know, though, I only have one extra bedroom and one couch.
And you've got plenty of flag. I got my flag from Canada.
Ooh,
it's
Quebecois.
No, it's from medieval times.
Yeah, but the blue and white with a fleur de lis, that's Quebec.
It's Frog Central. I don't care.
Les Grenouilles.
Something like that. Anyway, so we like you guys over there in Montreal. Anyway, so again, if you're listening, you're missing out on stuff, man. Anyway, let me go ahead and get this thing rolling. With my clock not on the screen yet, because dummy me, I didn't launch it up yet. Yeah. All right, so with 5 minutes on the clock, your freestyle starts now. Listen, believe it or not, I did not rip this title off from a Chicago song of the same name, which those of you that remember Chicago from way back when would know full well. All you got to do is listen. Well, there are a lot of things that people should really be listening to. And I could go with the easy one, which is politicians who should really be listening to what's going on. Because people are yelling and screaming a lot. I could also go ahead and make mention to the recording of kids who are lamenting the separation from their parents at the border here in my country. Yes, you should be listening to that as well. But I've got a slightly better, and I say better in scare quotes because it's better to me. I'll explain. You know full well that I have this nasty habit, a really nasty habit of making brand new friends on Facebook a lot. And this is one of those times where people should really listen to themselves. There was, and I really hate that I have to say it this way, another shooting in my country this past week. In this particular case, at a news organization. If you really need to look up the specifics of it, you can go ahead and find it. Short version, after all the yelling and screaming about how the news media is fake and they're the enemy of the people and that certain other individuals keep saying that people should be shot because they're part of that industry. And now people have been shot. Yeah, complicit much? Anyway. So somebody had gone ahead on Facebook and had forwarded the news article from the local news agency out there. And their comment was, "More guns, please. Duh." Now, this is somebody who was posting it in the realm of, well, of course, more guns is going to help everything because with more guns, then nobody's going to be using a gun, right? Morons. That's the context. So, somebody decided to answer to it and said, why is it a gun issue? That was the weapon of choice here. I don't own one or want one, all capitals, of course, but guns, all capitals, weren't aren't the problem. People are, and that's a fact. With any nut job, with any tool they use to slaughter people, for fuck's sake. Their words, not mine. So I went ahead and I did the reasonable thing. I asked questions. Let's examine that a little. What other weapon could be used that can do what a gun can, in numbers of possible harmed or death, in capacity to instill terror in a large area, in ease of use, and a near ubiquity of access? Seems like a simple enough question, doesn't it? Tell me another weapon that can be as useful, as easy to access as a gun here in the United States. You ready for this? Their answer was vehicles. At any time, any busy street, the right vehicle can mow down a shitload of people. A sword, machete in the right spot with no one else with a gun to help. There's a lot. What's your point? Yeah. I explained how silly that is. That a car doesn't instill fear. You can spot a car behaving erratically from quite a ways away, and you have concern for the person who's behind the wheel until and unless something happens. And even then, if you go ahead and you hit somebody with a car, they have to be right in front or in back. You can't hit somebody from a dozen meters away. When all was said and done with this whole thing, guy went ahead and said, because I said the primary use of a vehicle is not as a weapon. OMG. Yes, they typed OMG. Who gives a shit its primary purpose? Primary purpose is protection. Your point isn't working. I know my 5 minutes are up, but I'd like you to take this into consideration. The primary purpose of a weapon is not to save you from another weapon, is to hurt the other person. A barrier is protection. A suit of armor, a castle wall, a roof over your head, the ozone layer, a plant's cell wall. A gun's primary purpose is to throw a piece of metal with such velocity and accuracy as to do hurt, harm, or death to the entity it impacts, overcoming any protective barriers. However, if your position is that a gun is needed as protection against another gun, then your idea of protection is from a position known as MAD, mutually assured destruction. He won't shoot me because he knows that I'll shoot him back and we'll both die. And that's a fool's errand. When all was said and done, all that was left was for me to post. Please feel free to show me where the logic of my position breaks down. Dude, you should really listen to your own damned arguments. Especially when somebody can go ahead and say, that's what your argument is? This is what your argument is then. How do you not see that? Why can't you hear your own damned words? It's episode 217 on the docket, Your Honor. Happy Canada Day. Yeah, it's July 1st. Seriously, it is tang. It is not wine tonight. I have no beer.
I was going to say that's the wrong 25 if it was January.
I'm thinking of way. I'm sorry. I've got a lot of things on my mind tonight. And yeah, I've got a lot on my mind, especially with this week, with just too damn many things that are running through me, including not the least of which is I don't remember if I had updated my numbers as far as Rafe Badawi's situation is concerned. I didn't see anything in the news necessarily this week. Yeah, which
I had not either.
Which is rather unfortunate, but we'll be dealing with that. So did I update my numbers? No, I had not. So as of the recording of tonight's show. It is now 6 years, 14 days.
6 years? 6 years already?
6 years,
Damn.
14 days since Raif Badawi was unjustly incarcerated for thought crime. Women are driving in Saudi Arabia, and he's still in jail for asking about it.
But did you know that many of the women who advocated for driving rights are now in jail too?
You know, somehow, this is my face of non-surprise.
I think what you're running into there is a lot of what you'd run into if the U.S. suddenly followed Canada's example and started to legalize pot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can almost guarantee you that after, what is it, October 21st? Is that
17?
Okay, so yeah, now we're going to have 420, we're going to have 1017. Awesome. But I can guarantee you that it's going to be another couple of years before, even if the issue of people still in jail for marijuana possession are going to be released.
The thing about the women in Saudi Arabia, they only arrested them right before they legalized.
Well, yeah, and that's because
driving.
They're dickheads. You know, I mean,
exactly.
We know that was the.
This isn't somebody who broke the law last year and is still in jail. This is somebody that advocated for women driving. Yeah. They said, "Oh, okay, we'll do that," but you bitches are gonna go straight to jail because they have stupid laws.
But I mean, this is the you know, we've talked before about the last gasp of religious organizations, you know, and as we all thought atheism was going to, you know, spread like wildfire across the fruited plain, and that these religious people were going to start, you know, smelling their own fear, that they were going to start resorting to extraordinary measures to try to, you know, wring out that last desperate amount of authority that they were about to lose to do something. And I think in Saudi Arabia, that's what we saw.
You know, it's funny. A lot of people forget that when religion gets threatened and the people that support it feel threatened, they resort to violence, murder, rape, pillaging, changing the laws, locking you up, cutting your head off, throwing acid on you, throwing you off a roof, stoning you to death, drawn and quartered, lots of nasty, really hurtful things and deadly things. So when I think of religion dying in a fire, I remember that
there's going to be a lot of collateral damage when that day ever comes to the U.S.
Yeah, the religion's not going to die just shouting its death knell. It's going to take people with it.
Yeah, no, they will not go quietly into that good night.
No. Ain't that the case? And just joining us, and glad you're able to make it over to us from Pittsburgh. Good morning, Joey.
I don't know about good, but it's certainly morning already.
Yes, it is. It's probably hot and stuffy over there, same as everybody else right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we shall see how this is going to play out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
I'm just glad
I got that reference.
All right. So before we get into the whole damn thing, really quickly, we will talk off the air when we get done tonight as far as to what's going to end up happening for next week. Next week is dicey because I will be in Pittsburgh for Anthrocon. Joey, I will probably end up seeing him because at some point. And Dalan and Heretic Woman are the only other two that have access to the account in order to run this show. So we will see what happens. No promises.
I don't actually have plans yet next weekend.
Okay, well, we will.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually going to be home next weekend.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
So the Canadians might be taking over.
Happy New Year in Canada.
Thank you.
Or happy 4th of July in Canada. So there we go.
Yeah.
No. See, right now it's one of those mean things where it's so. Yeah. Again, if you're listening, you're really missing out on these jokes. Trust me, this shit's funny, man. You should really shut up. Anyway, you can name it the Canadian invasion. No, because that's 1812, and we kind of had a lot of buffalo burned down.
We've been over this though. That technically was the British.
Yeah, apparently that just came up recently again, didn't it?
Fairly so.
We
guys,
see you rebuilt it. It's very nice.
But guys, listen. When you're hurt, when something happens to you, when you've maybe lost something or lost in a fight or something like that,
when you're down and out,
there does come a time when you do have to sort of realize that, okay, you know what, this happened. It's time to kind of move on.
When you're weary,
and you'll kind of shut up.
Shut up.
This is a lesson you guys have to learn. It's like you parade these wounds around.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes me shake my head a little bit.
No, and all right, so let's kind of get started on that, because there is a true difference in the way of how Canada and the US really see things socially. Now, I've already talked about on many an occasion how there's this mirror line between Canada and the US, where on the north side it's we, W-E, whereas on this side it's me, and that so typifies the difference socially between our cultures.
Yeah.
There is that.
It really is. We talked before. Dalan, in particular, we had specifically talked about, and I remember very clearly you saying, if I could pay $100 a month more in taxes to make sure that some 12-year-old kid gets open heart surgery or a heart replacement or something to keep him alive.
Totally fine with that. Totally fine with that.
Yeah, and somebody you'd never know.
Yep. And some people in America are like, no, why would I want to pay for somebody else to live?
Oh, here's one. Okay. Like I mentioned off the air, I just got back from North Carolina. I was there last week. I was actually at Duke University, working with their transit agency. Yes, there are university campuses down there that have their own bus system.
Wow.
Well, Texas A&M University is another one that I know quite well, because I've gotten many phone calls from their director with just needing help and stuff like that.
I mean, the simple size of said campuses makes it pretty much a requirement.
I do not disagree. I got the tour of the Duke campus while I was there, and holy shit. The largest university I ever went to had a population during school time of about between 10 and 12,000, which was 3 times the size of my hometown. That was enough of a culture shock for me. Finding out that there were campuses down in the States that actually needed their own transit system because of the size and the population, I'm still getting over that. I mean, all good for academia. I mean, if you want to expand your mind and actually, get a degree in that kind of field that can make you that kind of cash, theoretically, that's my caveat. More power to you. But where else am I going with this?
A derail.
Yeah, I completely derailed there.
Brain fart.
I can do you one better. When you said for academia, what I heard in my head was fracademia. It's like, why are we bringing Battlestar Galactica?
Wow.
So anyway, the size of campuses, small towns.
Yeah. And entirely different cultural centers too. I mean, there is a cultural mindset on campuses, but I think that's almost the same on any campus, no matter what country you live in. I can't. Okay, honestly, I did slip. I know I got to talking. I was going to talk about something, but then completely derailed.
We were talking about having just visited Raleigh and
but it was something before that, like to do with the we versus me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
It'll probably come back.
It's all right. And by the way, I was just looking it up just for giggles. Yankee Stadium at capacity is a little over 47,000 people. And you're talking about half of a full capacity Brooklyn Bombers. You know, that's friggin' man.
Yeah.
The town where I grew up had 3,000 people.
Yeah, the town where I grew up.
I think it might have 4 now, 30 years.
Yeah. Mine hovered. It was like at 4, but I remember it actually peaked at about 12. But I mean, it was a mining town, so the economy is kind of based on that. I think now it's hovering around 3 or 4 again after having peaked. God, I haven't been back there in a long time too. I actually do have to make plans to go at some point.
The school that I went to had a little over 25,000 students. Yeah.
And this gets me too. Like, I hear this a lot, especially here when they talk about class sizes. The teachers' unions are always harping about our class sizes are too big, and they say, like, it's getting to be, it's 30 students, it's 35 students, and I'm thinking, I dealt with that my entire academic career, like from kindergarten to grade 12. I never had less than 20 fellow students in a class, and we all did okay.
Yeah.
You take one look at my the grad picture for when I graduated high school. I mean, there was well over 100 kids there. So when I hear, like, oh, well, our grade 6 class has, 30 students in it. Yeah, mine had 28. And it does generate. I mean, I'll give you this much. There is a certain level of self-reliance that you have to have in school. I mean, even at a young age, you got to realize that this is not going to be spoon-fed to you. You actually do have to do your homework. You do have to spend time not in front of a computer playing a video game, or not in front of your console playing whatever game you've just downloaded. You got to turn that shit off and actually buckle down and do the work. And I know it's tough as hell. I mean, I damn near flunked a class because of a video game addiction years ago.
But the other side of that, though, is what about all these kids now that are homeless? It's really hard to concentrate on your homework when you're homeless, or you have a parent that works 3 jobs that cannot be there.
No, I understand. I get that. And yeah, a lot of things have changed, but it still kind of boggles the mind, I guess.
Yeah, there's a piece about this I wanted to specifically hit up with, because this is going to sound like it's tangential information, but I'll show you how it works together. I was just pulling up the information about our 2 countries. The United States, we know full well, is a massive area of land. Canada beats us because, well, I mean, Canada claims all that radioactive fallout area from the Soviet Union, and thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Put it this way, Shuj. If you guys in Russia push the button, we're coming after you first because you're closer, and it's a warmer trip.
Yeah,
just keep that in mind.
Let's put it this way: Canada has more physical land, but the United States of America has a bigger ego about theirs.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we do have more physical land, but a lot of it is
empty,
really damn cold.
And that too, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
Funny you should say that, because here's the thing: I know full well that from past experience of having hosted stuff here in the United States, the population is approximately 330 million, approximately. Now, I know full well the numbers, fluctuate and they change, and I don't have the exact number, but I can give you this. The population density of the United States, on average, population density comes out to be, where is that number? I had it over here. Population density, here we go. Comes out to 32.8 per square kilometer. And I'm going to use that simply because, remember, per square kilometer, 33 people per square kilometer, roughly, as an average.
Yeah, good luck getting that in Alaska.
Yeah, well, that's why average. Now, for Canada, again, as an average, the population density is 10 per square kilometer.
Yep.
Yeah, well, when half your real estate is glaciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I just checked, and the population of the United States is just shy of 326 million.
Okay.
And we are at 36 million.
So there is a huge difference in, you know, how many people are around us. Now, the reason why I kind of wanted to pull that in is that we also know from past experience, we pay whatever it is that we pay in taxes, and we've kind of mentioned how there's a big difference in taxes being paid over the border on the Canadian side versus over here, where for us it's, I want to keep every dime that I've made because it's mine, as opposed to, yeah, I want to keep my money, but I also don't want people to die because I couldn't part with an extra couple of bucks.
And I just remembered where I derailed.
Awesome.
Go.
I had watched a television commercial while I was in North Carolina.
You poor sod.
I know. But it was an advertisement for an agency that allows you to sell your insurance policy.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah. If I heard it correctly, and I was sober as a judge the entire time. I only had one beer, and that was at the airport on my way home.
I was going to say most judges usually have a dozen.
Yeah, well,
let's hope not.
So you are more sober than a judge.
Hey, can you nominate me for the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. Well, I think you just have to be a resident of the United States, right?
I don't even know that that's even something that has to be.
Well, in any event.
So, anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, in any case.
All shenanigans aside.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that commercial was an ad that people could actually sell their insurance policy. And I obviously I think they were talking about life insurance, but it was like, do you really need it? Would you sooner have your money and not have to pay these monthly premiums? And I'm thinking to myself, how hosed these people are going to be when their gallbladder gives out, or when something like, yes, paying into an insurance policy is, you know, it's a drain. But it's something that you end up having to do because what if? You know, what if you go for a checkup and they find a little something on an organ, and then they have to go in and take it out, otherwise you might die. And then when they go in and find out, oh, gee, it's a lot bigger than we thought, so we're going to have to open you up, and then we're going to have to keep you in there for 2 months because we screwed up on something else. But don't worry, because you're insured, you won't have to pay a dime.
I have to pause you guys over there a second. Timothy Love just commented over on the channel. Timothy, this channel's name is blasphemous. Just thought you might want to know. Timothy.
No.
Really?
Really?
Oh, my stars and garters.
All right.
The reason why it's called Holy Crap the Vlogcast is because holy shit wasn't allowed by YouTube.
Yeah.
No.
Be sure to check
I mean, I voted. I
years.
personally voted for Holy Fuckballs, but you know.
Holy is his name. His who? Because that doesn't narrow it down very much.
I would assume it would be the great. Well, no, I was going to say the great cheddar peel in the sky. But no, it would have to be Swiss. What's the other one that's got that lace? Whatever. Anyway,
no, and if we're staying on topic, it has to be the either the great Tim Hortons in the sky or the great maple syrup.
Can somebody just use these and pull out my teeth right now?
No.
Because this will be more entertaining.
No. I will go with this. I will go with this. Timothy, the show's name is blasphemous. No, it's not. So you're already starting on a really bad foot. We're not using a blasphemous term in any way. We're using an explicative, like "go fuck yourself." So please keep that in mind.
The radio of the show.
Thank you for playing.
Tell them we said hello.
Again, we got to keep it on topic. That's "go fuck yourself," eh?
Right. And sorry.
So,
as written by Jehovah.
Sorry, you got to go fuck yourself, eh?
I said Jehovah.
Wow.
Jehovah.
Yahweh. No. Yeah. Okay.
We just had that joke on the last show I did for 10 minutes.
Excuse me.
In all seriousness, Timothy, if by some whim of the imagination you are actually still listening, for whatever reason, seriously, we're not blasphemous. We take things and we try to examine what does it all mean. And if that gets your knickers in a twist, this is not the show for you. Don't worry about it. There are plenty of others that you can go and you can frequent.
There's a dude called G-Man. I think you'd probably enjoy him.
Possibly.
Or our friend Neffy.
But
few robes.
But
yeah.
In all seriousness, Timothy, if you were doing this just to have a laugh, we're having a bigger laugh. If you're doing it because you were just trying to have a little fun, we had fun with you. If you're doing it because you were serious, you know what?
Okay, guys, I'm not on the channel. I'd really like to know what was so funny all of a sudden.
Yeah, those of you that are listening to the podcast, you really need to watch more often. God, you really should. It's so wonderful when I could just click on the button and say, "Go fuck yourself," and I didn't hit the button, did I? God damn it.
Nope. But I already dropped 2 bombs after year 1, so I think
whatever. It's gonna be fun.
We're children of disobedience now. I love it.
We're dream children of disobedience.
No, my mother's name is not disobedience. Okay, it doesn't even begin with that letter. I should know. I have my copy of my birth certificate.
Yeah, and I am a retroactive bastard. No lie. So whatever.
Yeah, now you see all this talk about dream. I'm trying to work this into some kind of a Warframe pun, but it's just not working. I think I need more coffee.
Yeah, it's all right. I was going to make some kind of reference to Freddy Krueger, but it's hot and steamy enough over here as it is. So let's move the hell on from now.
You know what? I dream all the time. I just can't really talk about it on a show like this because again, it's that whole monetization thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on in my mind? You don't want to know.
Is this where we're supposed to say?
In a minute.
Is this where we're supposed to say checkmate ate the tits?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Go ahead and say it then. Checkmate
ate the tits.
So one of the best parts about being this close to the Canadian border is literally being able to go over the border to visit. And in seriousness, there is a really sad part about it.
Nice one, Tech.
Don't do it. Later. The thing that's actually kind of disheartening for me is there is a marked difference going from the New York side of the border across the bridge to the Canadian side, because there is a very large delimited area where you can tell the difference where the Canadian side and the pride in the country is versus the New York and the US side, where suddenly there's crap thrown out of car windows and littering the sides of the road.
Yeah, that pisses me off so much.
You don't know the half of it, man.
Well, I did. I got a little bit of piece of what it must be like for some people. I did have a friend come up and visit. This was years ago, and they came on the bus because they didn't have the right kind of passport to fly, and well, didn't really have the money either. Well, no, you got that 2-stage passport down there. You've got the card versus the book.
Mm-hmm.
The card will let you fly domestically and cross the border on land. But if you want to cross the border in the air, apparently you need the full book version.
Yep.
News to me. Okay.
Anyways, so this friend came by bus, and they wanted to extend their stay out for a couple of weeks just because of I was working, and I couldn't really take time off because I'd only been at the job for like 2 months. And so we went down to the bus station, and she was expecting a fight. You know, expecting the person at the Greyhound to be like, well, why do you want to stay? Like, what's your business? You know, do I have to get immigration in here? And so she walks up to the booth and says, I'd like to reschedule this ticket for April 30th. And he takes the ticket. Yeah, sure. No problem. $10 or however much it was. And as we're walking away, she looks at me like, I can't believe it was that easy. I'm like, what were you expecting? And then she told me that she was expecting, you know, an argument. I'm like, no, that's not how we do it here. You know, seem legit.
Too legit to quit.
Yeah, but
now see, there's a big difference. Over here, we were expecting that somebody's going to have a problem. We're expecting that somebody is out to get something. Everybody's got an angle. Everybody's got a thing that they've got a piece that they want. And for, generally speaking, Canadians overall, and I'm not in any way saying this is a bad thing at all. Generally speaking, I would think that culturally, you guys basically say the vast majority of people are good people. Why is this a problem?
I think, at least in my own mindset, I try to be a little more pragmatic when it comes to dealing with folks. Like, you look on the news, or you look on, you know, God forbid, you look on YouTube, as I often do.
Can't imagine why.
And there are vast swaths of people that are considered to be a certain way. You know, these people are all, you know, like all Republicans are money hungry, finger pointing. Y'all are lazy people. Praise the Lord, pass the ammunition kind of people. I'm more interested in dealing with I take things on a much more case by case basis. You know, I know Republicans. I know people who did vote for Trump, and as far as day-to-day lives go, they're actually not bad people.
Wait, Trump or the people who voted for Trump?
These certain people who voted for Trump.
Okay.
These are not the people that would show up.
Just clarifying.
Yeah, these are people who aren't showing up at rallies. They're not sporting MAGA hats. They're just people who were, they had their reasons for voting. I never got into it, and I'm not going to get political with them because, well, does it really affect me? Well, not much.
I'll be quite honest. I've met several people who voted for Trump. I can actually say I've met at least 4 people who admit to voting for Trump, who also, at this point in time, go, it was a mistake. It was a bad decision. I give credit to those people. I give a lot of credit to those people.
Well, unfortunately, I'm related to some people that run around in those damn MAGA hats.
Yeah. I'm not saying that...
Ask them to take it off and tell them where the tag says it was made. That's always fun to point out.
They don't care, and they say we're proud to call ourselves deplorables. And I'm like, okay, I just need to cut my ties with you. Bye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of us are proud to call ourselves damn dirty atheists too. So I mean, you know,
well, we did evolve
doesn't have another.
No, but they mean it though. That's the thing about it. You're serious.
Yeah. No, I get it. But the thing is, case by case, yes, I'll find some people who, you know, they fit every single thing. Like they basically hit every single label that the so-called liberal media would say are bad, but they're actually good people. But you're also going to find people like what you said, Brigid, that they are every bit the asshole the news portrays them to be. You know, that's what I mean. Case by case.
Oh, Timothy. Did you guys see Timothy's latest?
Oh, what has Timbo done now?
Most people that voted for Trump wanted to get rid of the prideful Obamacare that wanted to push a communist product on free people.
May I?
Oh, okay, go, Shu. Go for it.
Sure, dude.
Item number 1, citation, please.
Yep.
Item number 2, prideful, citation, please. Item number 3, communist? No. Socialist. Kind of like police and fire and rescue and hospitals and infrastructure for telecommunications, for power, for water, for transportation, for bridges, for airports, for train stations, for the National Weather Service, for NASA, for the military. I stand by my previous selection.
Yeah, the military. There's another big difference.
Yeah.
Let's see. You guys clocked in your last budget. I think it was 600 billion for the military.
Wait.
Back up by another 200.
Yes, Joey.
Canada has a submarine.
We do.
Does Canada know?
Look. Let me clear the air on this. Okay, look.
More than one.
We have 5 of them, and they're all at West Edmonton Mall. Okay.
Yes.
And at least 3 of them still work.
There you go.
And one ice cube aircraft carrier at the bottom of Lake Halifax.
Yes, the HMCS Bonaventure. Yeah, I actually saw the anchor from that thing and quickly realized, God damn, that was a big ship.
No, the Habakkuk.
Timothy,
The Habakkuk.
Timothy, you're full of shit. Timothy, I live in a social democratic country. We have universal health care. No one comes to my house for shit.
No, what you're thinking of, I think, Timothy, is people who adopt children can have their homes inspected, and they can make wellness visits to double check on the care of the child, you know, especially during the very beginning, where it's really important to see whether the adults and the children are bonding and things like that, which, you know, any concerned parent, me being one, would find that, unless I was like a bad parent, would actually find that to be a good thing, that, you know, the system's going, hey, look, we gave you this kid. We're just double checking here to make sure everything's going pretty good.
And no, Timothy, it's not like saying killing things for food is okay, therefore killing is okay. That's bullshit, okay? We actually care about our fellow citizens enough to ensure that people have health care. And we don't care that our money goes to help someone else, because that's what compassion. I thought Christians are supposed to be compassionate. You know, Jesus taking care of the poor and feeding the hungry and all of that, and healing the sick. Jesus went around socialistically healing the sick, not for profit.
If I may.
What a bastard.
But that was Jesus the Nazarene, not supply side Jesus, the Republican Jesus.
If I may.
Please, Joseph. Joey. Sorry, the actual Joseph Timothy is here.
We'll get him.
Sorry.
Joey.
Timothy, I'm assuming that you're an American, given your commentary thus far. I hate to break it to you, my friend, but we've had socialist programs in the U.S. since its inception. For example, I don't have children. I no longer attend school. I have graduated college. And I no longer have any ties with any educational system. but I still pay taxes for public schools. Why is that? Seems like a fairly socialist idea to me, but you know what? It's not a bad idea because I don't mind paying taxes for public schools because I don't want to live in a country surrounded by idiots.
Not only that, there's a point that a lot of people miss about being able to have everybody give a little bit so that everybody receives health care. And I'm just doing this for healthcare, okay? Forget any other socially democratically elected or decided upon helpful program, okay? I'm just going to talk about healthcare in this respect, all right? Why would I be willing to give up a little fraction extra of my paycheck to ensure that my neighbor gets healthcare? Because guess what? My other neighbor would be doing the same thing for me. So when everybody else is doing it, right, even if there's a few that aren't, it doesn't matter because the whole system is covered at that point. All right? And those people, some of those people that aren't because they don't want to. They're not doing it because they don't have the resources to do it. But maybe if we give them a chance, and we can only know this if we give them the chance, they'll get themselves into a better position where now they can contribute. So that way, the next time another person suddenly isn't able to, that person's covered. And who knows? That next person may be you. Because the way shit's going right now, with Trump going around going, oh, look, we're going to put tariffs on Canada, our allies, for crying out loud, okay? You don't do that to the people that you have agreements with to share and to help protect one another. You go, hey, yeah, we're going to protect each other. By the way, you're going to have to pay me an extra $50 every time you buy one of my products or you sell me one of yours or whatever. Yeah, guess what? That agreement's going to go in the trash after that shit. Or not necessarily, but they're going to retaliate, and they are, because of Trump. So it frustrates the hell out of me when you have somebody going, Trump's doing these great things. It's like, no, he's turning our allies against us. This is a very bad thing for our country. You don't piss off the people who are helping you. You don't piss off the people who are providing supplies at good rates to your country that you need, okay? Likewise, you don't piss off the people who are buying your shit, helping you produce profits that keep people employed. Look at Harley Davidson. You know, that was a great idea.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different things. There's two items, however. Joey, well played, by the way. Well played. Yes. I just saw that. Just want to congratulate you. And joining us, don't worry about
that is such a stupid cop-out, Tim.
Yeah.
If they get health care, they won't care about their health anymore? No, they're more likely. Tim, honest to God, all right? Here you go. Here's that phrase for you, honest to God. They've already did census. People who had health care, even if it was just preventative care, were more likely to go get the regular checkups that could detect things early, like signs of bad problems with their hearts or their lungs or blood pressure, than if they don't have any at all.
You know what? That works out perfect. And at this point, Timothy, I am now, as the main host, I am now calling an audible on this one. I am not going to mute your ass. We're going to collectively ignore the hell out of you. And we're going to show you up in a second over here. Joseph, joining us over from Paris. Good morning.
Bonjour.
Nice to have you.
Good morning and happy Canada Day.
And to you.
Thank you.
So
sorry for the lateness.
No, it's okay.
It's all right.
He's apologizing like a Canadian already.
I know, eh?
Already.
Yeah.
Well, you're sort of half-ish Canadian still.
Oh, that would insinuate that I'm slowly becoming Canadian.
No.
Again.
More Francais, I think, but.
Oh, right. Okay. So I shouldn't apologize at all, actually.
Well, no, you should say "Je suis désolé."
Well, and to that end, you know, and I think I saw this.
It's your fault for starting the show 1 hour early.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be more.
You're
fun.
welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Just for the record, I want to go on record as saying this. Apologies, saying the use of maple syrup, however you're going to do it, I'm not going to judge. Please do not think of this as any form of cultural appropriation on your guys' part, because up here, another big cultural thing, we don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, if you guys want to wear, plaid flannel and suck back some Tim Hortons and whatnot, that's totally fine.
I can say that being Canadian was a big challenge to my programming career because, I mean, finishing every line of code with A.
That's why you're supposed to use a pound sign.
I find it interesting the certain misconceptions that people have based upon clothes. Like I hung out with headbangers and deadheads and skaters and all that for years. And what was funny is a bunch of us, when it wasn't the season for like zip up sweater hoodies and things like that, when it was a little bit lighter, a little bit easier going on the temperature, we'd wear bulky flannel shirts, long sleeves. They were comfortable, they were soft, whatever. And I had a bright red and black one. I mean, it stood out like a sore thumb. You walk around anywhere.
Okay.
And the jokes about being a lumberjack. Just, man. And now I've got a beard. I'm taller. I'm stronger. I'm bigger. And wear the red shirt, and I still get the whole lumberjack thing from time to time.
Well,
it's like, if you actually go out to that area, a lot of those people don't wear this. They wear things that are much better for the climate.
They wear anoraks,
Zach, bigger with the beard and the flannel. You've actually contributed more to the stereotype of the lumberjack than you did before.
Yeah, no. That's what I mean. I think it's really funny. I met a young lady. She was dressed up in not quite skimpy clothing, but you could see all the curves. Hey, she looked nice. I'm not going to tell her how to dress. That was her own thing. But what kind of bothered me was that people were assuming a little bit that, hey, just because she likes to flaunt a little bit of what she's got, she must not have something upstairs. She was working in a grocery store.
Oh.
But turns out she owned the place.
Nice.
And she had her master's degree in business.
So, I could have had a lot of fun with that.
I found this out just by striking up casual conversation, and it eventually became a very highly intellectually involved conversation. And then it got on the topic of college, and that's how all that stuff came out. Meanwhile,
how do you know, sir? I have my doctorate in lumberjacking.
Dude, if there is a doctorate for lumberjacks, I would not be surprised at this point, because there are people who have doctorates in freaking feng shui and potpourri.
There is.
Yes.
I suggest you read my thesis.
Oh, God. What's your thesis title?
Chop.
Well, no, it's called Chop. Is that what you said?
See, for a second there, I thought it was going to be I'm okay. The life and times of a lumberjack.
Chop, and I'm okay.
Yeah. So let's backtrack into this, because as much as we were having fun with our new best friend,
yeah,
go fuck yourself. There is something that we have talked about before. Dalan had talked about it before, but Heretic Woman, I want your take on this one a little bit now, because the healthcare thing is something that gets bandied about all the time, and there's 14 years worth of waiting times on the Dalan had talked about one time before that if I'm not feeling very good, I could just go to the mall to a walk-up clinic and get checked out. And everything's good. Okay, cool. Everything's good. Here's my card. Everything's paid to go. Okay, good. Done.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Now there are issues with waiting for specialists. that is an issue because we have a shortage of them. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with how the system is worked for patients. It's just a matter of we don't have enough people who have gone through to become specialists in many fields.
And here's a funny thing about specialists in America. My mom has to see a specialist for her spine and things like that. And you know why she has to wait? It's not because there aren't enough specialists. It's because the health insurance company makes her.
Yep.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. It's not because they don't have any openings or they don't have enough people. It's they haven't approved it at this time.
And that's not ethical. Like, now, just recently, I was having some issues with vertigo a few months back. Ooh. And it took a while now to get to the specialist. And of course, you know, like Murphy's Law, once I got there, the symptoms had pretty much gone. But you know what? The doctor did not say, well, you don't have symptoms, we're not going to do anything because that would cost money. No, he sent me to a balanced clinic that did a bunch of testing. And then I got sent for 2 MRIs, not one, but 2. One to test for one thing, and one was focused on another area that could possibly cause vertigo. They were looking for, I'm assuming they were looking for brain tumors and things like that. Whatever, they only did my head. And you know what's really cool? The MRI at the hospital runs 24/7. So, which was beautiful for me because I got to go for an appointment at 8:30 p.m. and midnight. And you should have heard the scheduling nurse when she's like, "Oh, you're not going to like this," and gave me the midnight appointment. I went, "Woohoo!" Because they're not used to that. But in all of that, guess what I had to fork out for that? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. 0, zilch, nada.
So if I move to Canada and I file for citizenship and I do go through all the motions to become a citizen of Canada, how long do I have to wait before my health benefits kick in?
I think once you get permanent residency, it's like 6 months.
Oh, see, that's not bad.
Yeah.
No.
I don't even get to visit Canada.
Aw.
Yeah, we got to do something about that.
Well,
yeah.
It was one of those situations where, you know, I had like my social security card and birth certificate in one of my foot lockers. For all I know, it's at the bottom of the Atlantic at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The ship shrunk. Yeah, fuck, I can't talk.
But yeah, I can't get a proper passport until I have those 2 documents. And unfortunately, I mean, can I get them? Yeah, but it's a real big friggin' hassle.
Yeah. And it costs money that you probably can't spare.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Tech, just one thing. One of the the base healthcare that you get in each province, it requires a fee. Like something you have to pay.
We've been talking. I have no problems paying for stuff like that.
Oh, but wait, there's more. In Alberta, where I live, the government actually picks up the tab for that healthcare. So instead of paying $110 a month for this baseline that gets you, like we were talking about, you're not feeling so good, you go to the mall, you go to the clinic, you can get your script, and then go get your prescription filled out.
110 is cheap, dude. That's like a quarter of what I pay right now.
Yeah.
There's a national in Canada. If you can remind me, in Canada, there's a national. No, there's only in Ontario. There's only a province.
Well, no, it's
specific healthcare, or is there a national healthcare?
There's some national funding, but the provinces are responsible for their own systems.
Yeah, you have your provincial, which again that gives you the baseline, and then if you're not employed by a company that helps with healthcare, you can opt to go like to Blue Cross or Sun Life or Liberty Mutual and get your own plan. And that is also kind of based on your own health. Like for me with Blue Cross, because of my high blood pressure, I can't get the nice, happy top tier, but I can get the next best thing, which still is pretty damn good.
And just to clarify, the way I'm not sure if it's exactly the same in Alberta, but here, if somebody is getting supplemental insurance, that's not for things like doctor visits and treatments. That's almost strictly for medication and quote alternative treatment.
Well, like if you were to look at mine, like, okay, so I have my base healthcare, which I would have whether or not I was employed or whether or not I had my advanced insurance. But then
I remember you went through that leg problem.
Yeah, but then with the company I work for, I have additional insurance, and that is my prescription. So I only pay the dispensing fee.
Yeah.
Which one paid for the doctor, the nurse to come out and visit you in the home?
I didn't pay a dime. That was all on insurance.
No. Which insurance? Was that the one from the company or the one from Canada?
I believe that was my company insurance.
Okay.
You know,
my company insurance doesn't cover that at all, period.
Yeah. But you see, this is an insurance that I could have purchased myself if the company didn't.
Yes.
Like it's an option. But I have that one piece. Yes, it's compulsory, but it's a safety net to make sure that I can go for a checkup. I can go and get prescriptions for, different things. There are benefits to just having that. Now, and you see, this is the really bad thing with me is that most of the people I know in the U.S., no offense to anybody, a lot of the people I know don't have a so-called 9-to-5 job. So I don't know what they would have for like a comparable health plan with their company, or even if that's a thing.
Probably not as good. But I do have a question for the two Canadians.
Oh dear.
You can guess. Take a guess at what the going rate is in the state of Illinois for an inpatient consultation with a doctor.
$500.
Keep going.
1,000.
Keep going.
2,000.
Keep going.
Get out of here.
What?
$4,060.
Holy shit.
And I'm actually not surprised by that.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
And what's better is that a lot of the insurance companies now are doing these extremely high deductible rates to sell the companies to give their employees because the companies don't pay those rates. It goes right to the employee rather than standard plans. And the reason why they switched over to that was they realized, oh, look, we can fleece the people if we do this stuff, and we'll still be in line with the law.
Yeah, looking at $30,000 deductibles and over $4,000 for a specialist to get a consultation.
So a few years ago, I didn't have my own family doctor at the time. I would just go to whatever walk-in clinic, and I had bronchitis, and I needed a note for work because I had been off sick, and my health card was in transit because I had to replace my ID or some shit, and I forgot to bring the paper with me and whatever. And so I was going to be seen by the doctor to confirm, yes, indeed, I have bronchitis, and get a note. Do you know how much it costs because I didn't have my health card with me that I had to pay out of pocket to see the doctor? Take a guess, anybody.
Probably $35.
Very close, 40.
Okay.
That's Canadian. That's in Canuck bucks, though.
Yeah.
So,
well,
you can get that back.
How much?
Yes. Sorry, yes, Josie.
I was just gonna ask, how much is that in Canadian Tire dollars?
That's about a 4-inch stack, but
Okay, I don't get the joke. What do you mean Canadian?
Okay. Let me have a listen. There is a store.
But, one quick thing though, Joseph is right. Once I got my card, I went back to the clinic, presented my card, and I was refunded the $40. So,
well, I have insurance. Last time I had to go to a little clinic to get a note for work. my deductible, had to be satisfied. That was over $800.
Yeah. See, the
Get a
last
doctor's
time,
note.
But sorry, Shujin was going to explain Canadian Tire.
$10.
Okay. So in Canada, there is a chain of stores called Canadian Tire. They don't just they do sell tires though.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I mean, it's not one of those ironic names where they just don't freaking.
No. I think they started with tires and they sort of expanded to automotive and then hardware and.
So they're basically a Canadian Costco. Welcome to Costco.
No.
We have Costco, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like a Home Depot.
They actually tried selling food about 3 years ago, and it was really weird, and everybody.
They were trying to go automotive version of IKEA.
I don't know what it was, but the food thing did not catch on. But anyway,
basically, they started out as specifically like your Midas or your Amco, and kept adding department after department until they're effectively at this point kind of like Walmart.
Walmart without the food and without the clothes, and without the pharmacy.
Yes.
And without the 30 registers, of which only 2 are manned.
Yeah. Here in this case, we have
they're pretty good that way.
Yeah, here we have 8 registers and only 2 are manned.
There's like sporting goods and housewares and hardware, and you can buy a lawnmower and a refrigerator and tires and whatever. So at one point, and I think it was back in like the 30s or 40s, they started a rewards program for loyal customers. And so for every dollar you spend, you would get back it's supposed to be like a coupon, but it looks like kind of like Monopoly money, but it's like the same texture as money paper and whatnot. And it had like the Canadian Tire mascot was like the Scottish dude in a tam. And it was, so if you spent $1, I think you get 5 cents back or something like that. So people collected this shit and for decades sometimes. And it would, every time you go there, you get some with your receipt and your change, if any. So it would end up accumulating in junk drawers across Canada, and people would hoard it and collect it. And I have known of people who collected it for so long that they went in and bought like a lawnmower with, a giant bag full of it.
I think my granddad must have accumulated, I think he must have a truckload by now.
I know a guy. I ran into a guy at, he was a consultant friend of mine. I ran into him in a Canadian Tire, and I was picking up some stuff for the house, and he had just finished doing some renovations on his place, and he had bought 90% of the stuff he needed at Canadian Tire. And he says, "Yeah, I just picked up a barbecue." I'm like, "Well, how much?" He says, "Oh, it's about $650." I'm like, "Wow." He says, "Yeah," and I didn't pay anything for it.
Yeah.
Now, but here is the vicious cycle that is Canadian Tire money.
Here it comes.
Even if you drop, like this guy did, $650 in nothing but Canadian Tire money to purchase said barbecue, you still get back your 5% in Canadian Tire money. You cannot get rid of this stuff.
And people buy, Canadian Tire sells gas now.
Yep.
So people get Canadian Tire money when they buy gas and all kinds of stuff.
But they have modernized a little bit.
Yeah, they have a card now, I think.
Yeah, I have a credit card from Canadian Tire. And that's where my Canadian Tire money is now collected. If I use that credit card, there is also now, I think they call it the Triangle card, which is just a Canadian Tire. It's basically it's a Canadian Tire money debit card.
Cool.
And if you swipe that, they'll, instead of handing you the paper cash like you see on the screen there, they will just swipe your card and they will credit or debit. Well, I can't remember which one it is, but they'll add it to your card account. Yeah, it is.
It doesn't exactly sound like a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Example there for
and
you.
the thing is, the thing is, when it comes to the hardware and stuff that you're buying there, like let's say you're buying tools or stuff, it's not okay, there are like the knockoff stuff, but you can still get, you can buy DeWalt, you can buy
Makita,
Milwaukee, Black & Decker, Bosch. Like they do sell the quality stuff. Like it's not knockoff. So I mean, it's not my ex-father-in-law used to call it a junk store, but that's because that's because he couldn't get, his DeWalt drill for, $29. It was like $200 for the one he wanted. But I've purchased stuff there for the houses I've lived in. I'm probably going to keep buying stuff there, and it's quality stuff.
My stepfather gets a $50 gift card for there every year for Christmas, and he's happy as a clam. So there's the denominations. It goes 5 cents, 10 cents, 25, 50, $1, and $2. You have to make a substantial purchase to get a $2 Canadian Tire bill back.
And I don't think they'll let you change it up either.
No,
like you can't go in with your big fat stack of 5 centers and get them to give you a $2 one. It just doesn't work that way.
No, you have to spend it to get rid of it.
Yeah, but I mean, and this is always fun too. Is when you do walk up, and if you're ahead of about 10 people behind you, and they say, okay, it's going to cost this much, and then you just you put that stack of stuff, like, get counting, lady.
Yeah.
you've instantly pissed off everybody behind you.
In fact, here's a good example of the average Canadian's stash after a few years.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I would normally say that's an exaggeration, but I have been there.
Yep.
That was after 5 years living in this one place with my now ex-wife, and we pulled that stuff out to go buy something. And I think we paid for the price of what it was. I think we paid maybe a third of it in actual cash, and the rest of it was Canadian Tire money.
Okay,
wow.
guys. Real quick, Dalan and Heretic Woman, you guys might have noticed that I sent control over your way.
Yes.
I've got a thing going on with the power over on my side, and I'm trying to clear it up. But the way that it's going, the UPS has not chucked itself over. So real quick before I go ahead and have to depart, the one piece I wanted to say specifically was the best part about Canadian Tire money is it is a de facto secondary currency because everybody uses it at some point or other, including paying for a convention. But that's another thing. The next thing that I wanted to take you guys over to was crap. I forgot what the hell it was. What it was going to be.
Brain fart.
Damn it! I can't remember what it is. I will be back momentarily. I'm going to get out of here so I can reset my UPS. But I will be back as quickly as I can. Okay. Heretic Woman, I'll turn it over to you for the time being, and
all right,
you guys can take it wherever it is. And
by the way,
I will be back.
Just so you know, that beep is not as loud as it may be sounding on your side to us on this side. Just so you know.
It's going off, and that's the important part.
Yeah, go fix it.
I just wanted to let you know.
Fair enough. I'll be back in a bit. All yours, hon.